Hey, Lizz Quain, welcome to the Parental CEO interviews. Now, we've had Liz on as a ultimate lifer. She's actually living her best life and traveling around with her two daughters. But today, Liz is on to the Parental CEO interview because she has her own business and she is living life. So, Liz, tell us a little bit more about you and what you do.
Sure. I mean, as I mentioned before, I'm a digital nomad, world schooling mom, entrepreneur, and I'm currently now a world schooling coach, and I have a course on how to world school and travel extensively. I've done loads of other things as a nomad for nearly 7 years. I've sold products on Amazon. I helped launch an online global school, a bunch of stuff. But I finally figured out my ikigai, the Japanese word of what I'm passionate about, what I'm good at, and what people need, what the world needs. So I launched a course and it's going really well. And I think I've learned a bit about how to run an online business. In the past, I had a brick and mortar business back in the States, a large indoor children's play cafe. So I've worked in corporate America. I've worked for startups. I've, launched my own businesses. So I've done a lot of things. I'm really happy with what we're doing now.
Amazing. So tell us, because in the Parental CEO, it was created to help parents become more successful in both business and life and parenting. But we always want to add value to our community by sharing success stories and advice on how you manage the best of both worlds. So like being a parent and a business owner. How did it all start? What made you start this business?
Well, in the past, I worked really hard. I have a very hard work ethic and, 100 plus hours a week or whatever. I mean, whatever it takes, 7 days a week. And I just get burned out. I get really, passionate about something and I just do a lot. And I burn out and I'm not spending enough time with my kids. So I'm now trying to work smarter, not harder. I am working hard right now because my business is pretty, it's fairly new. I launched my clients started paying me in January, but it was several months beforehand to create my course and promote it and all of that. All on social media. I didn't spend a dime on advertising. I did take an online business course with someone, and I'm kind of following what she recommends. So now my goal is, once it's up and running, and I just signed up with a software program, also run by another world schooling mom entrepreneur. And so it's been a lot of work the last few weeks to get it up and running. But I now have a CRM. I've always had a couple of freebies that I offer when people join my Facebook group. So in a very short period of time, I've gotten over 1,000 emails. I've got about 2,400 people in my Facebook group. That's kind of like my main thing. I haven't really branched out a lot on Instagram or other social media. I interview people like you do and then replay them on YouTube, but it's not my main thing. My Facebook group is the main thing. And so and then now I have funnels set up and emails that go out to people and a free masterclass that I had recently that gave people a taste about on my course. And I got 9 people signed up to my current cohort. I'm still taking a couple of stragglers. And my goal is to just keep growing it and scale it. And I do my course live right now, but I may in the future have a pre-recorded course. We'll see what works. And then I can spend more time with my kids and not work so much. And I mentioned that one of my girls has ADHD in my earlier video, and she needs more of my help, with her education and just everything. And the other one's a bit more independent, but that's my goal. That's my plan.
That's amazing. So can you tell us a little bit more about the whole idea of your business, what it is and why you're doing it?
Sure. A few years ago, I did give a presentation to a virtual World School Summit on income ideas to fund family travel and world schooling. I did a ton of research because I was visiting a lot of digital nomad hubs and meeting lots of digital nomads. And, obviously we know you could be a YouTuber or copywriter or do technology, but I had a big list with very obscure jobs on there. So I gave the presentation. I was thinking initially of becoming a digital nomad coach because I am interested in how people can fund this lifestyle. But I also work for that online global school, and I know a lot about education and about homeschooling and unschooling and local schools and world school hubs and all that. So I became really knowledgeable about that. And obviously, as a very avid traveler with almost 50 countries, in my like many stamps in my passport, many of them repeatedly, I know a lot about traveling too. So I actually had coffee a year and a half ago, or maybe a year ago, with a world school dad, entrepreneur, digital nomad. He's been doing this for years, longer than most people I know. And he reminded me, he said, Liz, there's lots of people because of the pandemic who are working remotely, either for a company or they're freelancing or whatnot. What people need your help with is they're afraid, to start traveling abroad with their kids, and they don't know how to educate them. And, they're working from home and their kids are down the street at the local terrible school, which, I'm not a fan of the antiquated school system. It's 50 years old. And, now we have the internet and there's so much to learn, and there's artificial intelligence, that's just arrived, and they're still having kids memorize things and take tests. And it's all about basically who has the best short-term memory and who's obedient and who will be a good future corporate worker. So I don't want that for my kids. I don't want that. I mean, if you want that for your kids, go for it. But in the US, we don't get very much vacation time. And, you're basically a corporate cog in the wheel, and it's all about the corporations in the US, capitalism on steroids. So I wanted a more balanced life, more happy life for myself and my kids. I want them to grow up to be free thinking entrepreneurs and, tech savvy global citizens. And I think that's what I'm doing for my kids. And I want to share this philosophy basically, and how to do so step by step. But I am focusing on the travel, logistics, getting set up, launching, what to know. And then we get into the education piece, because I can share how we've done it, but it depends on the kid. I mean, children, everyone's different. And there's what might work for my kids might not work for your kids. So I showcase different ways to do it. I interview families that do it different ways, and to inspire everyone. And I advise people to, try different ways and figure out what works best. So that's kind of how I got into it, and just basically, talking to friends of mine, figuring out what's needed, out there. And the world schooling community is mostly on Facebook, and there's a really big Facebook group that has over 60,000 members, and it's run by it was launched by somebody who's in his 30s, and he was world schooling. And then there's been lots of admins, and right now it's just not being run by anyone with passion. They just say, okay, yes, no, post. And then there's the other by the woman who runs that software company that signed up. She's just doing it as a hobby, and they do trips once in a while. So she's not really, passionate about her group as much. And then there's another one run by somebody whose son is now 24. And, so they're doing other things. So I've kind of introduced her or whatever to somebody else who might take over that group. But I didn't want to take over that group because I wanted I have my own group. So I have my own brand, I have my own mission, my own project. And so my mission is to just help families, help parents confidently world school their kids and travel, so they can live their lives as thriving global citizens. So that's my mission, and so far so good.
Amazing, so inspiring. So what are your keys to business success?
Well, again, it's still fairly new, but I think I haven't been doing the content posting that I should be. And I keep getting messages from my world school friends like, oh, I really like your post. But it's hard. I need to post more often, more regularly. And I do have a mix of posts. So you were mentioning about not having too many sales posts, and I totally agree with that. Basically the training that I've done and what I've learned over the years is, especially since I'm selling a lifestyle, my lifestyle, is I'm part of the brand, right? And my kids and all the other families that participate. So this is why it's called Trailblazing Families, not Lizz Quain, So, like once a week, this is what I should be doing. I share a story about myself, like write something on, Facebook and maybe repost on Instagram or wherever about like why I started world schooling, why I pulled my kids out of the traditional school system, whatever. And then maybe the next day I'll write a value post. Like I've written things on a giant list of a pro-con list of world schooling or money tips. I have tons of money tips, or the top 5 countries to go to, or why we prefer slow traveling versus fast traveling. And then I try to do a Facebook Live once a week, about something of value. And so I've done things on, these are things that you need to get in order before you start traveling. And then, maybe once a week, like on a Friday, I'll do a sales post. I'll say, hey, join my Facebook group, or check out my YouTube channel, or schedule a one-on-one with me, or join my course. It kind of depends. I like to ask questions once a week, where are your favorite destinations? Or, this is for people who have traveled. Or I'll say, where do you dream of going? Just to get conversation going. And then once a week, I might post like a pretty picture with, like a quote, an inspirational travel quote. So, I need to be doing that more. And then people will follow me, and then they'll like me and trust me, and hopefully join my group, and, come to my free masterclass. And then, once they feel comfortable with me, and also now that I have clients who have written so many great things, I can share testimonials, so I could say, people have said Lizz's course has transformed our lives, and we feel so excited and not afraid anymore, about going out in the wonderful world. So I post that once in a while. So those are my tips, I guess, for launching an online business that is using social media. And and then I didn't spend a lot of money at first on websites and branding and logos and all that. I just kind of put things together, and my logo, I just slapped it together, but I'll probably redo it, And then now I have, over 20 people wanting to join my Facebook group every day. And it was a lot of manual copy paste in these lists, and then emailing, 40 people at a time, because I only did it once a week, or maybe 100 people at a time, my freebie that they asked for. So one of them is the top 6 ways to world school. So I have a video, an hour-long video on that. Anyway, so that's kind of what worked. And now I'm paying money. It's $100 a month for the software, and it's a lot of work to set up, but eventually it's just going to be not all, but it's going to be automated a lot.
Amazing. By any chances that Karen's software?
Yes.
Yeah. So we want to get Karen on here. Obviously, it'll be great to be able to link this video to that one too. So your tips are automate the posting, basically.
Not the posting. Well, okay, you need to write at least 6 months of daily posting, and then eventually you can repeat, because people are not going to remember. You might always have new people looking at your personal Facebook page or Instagram or group or whatever, but you can copy paste then. But right now I'm still trying to create new content. I mean, of course, years from now I'll create new content, but you just want regular stuff posted on the social media to help with the algorithm. And I interviewed Karen last week. We're personal friends, and I interviewed her in person because we were right next to each other. Like, I was hanging out with her that day. So I'm like, we should do this in person, like side to side. It was so funny.
Amazing. Yeah, we actually went in our story, obviously a bit offline for the ultimate lifestyle stuff. We went to meet up with Karen, and then we missed her because she got there as we were leaving. But that's a whole different story. But it'd be great to get her on next. So I am so grateful that you could share this. Can you give the viewers a tip, as running a business as a parent and being a successful business owner, but still being a present parent? What is your piece of advice on that?
Yeah, it's hard because when I ran my play cafe, I wasn't present with them. It was really sad. I built this business for them, and they would come in the morning. I would be there before them, and my mom would bring them, and they'd be in my preschool from 9 a.m. to noon. And then at noon, they would come out and run over to me, mommy, mommy, to hug me. And I'm trying to hug them, but I have a line of customers trying to pay me. And I even had a receptionist, but during the busy times, I'm like, honey, please go to my office, turn on the TV, I'll be right there, and I had to push them away because I had so many customers at certain times. So that was really hard. And yes, as a digital nomad, I've done lots of work that kept me busy, but I definitely was more present with them. I spent more time with them. We try to go through periods where I'm working a lot. And then I think I mentioned we traveled around Italy for 2 months. So I wasn't really working a lot then, and I should have been, but we just had so much fun. We ate so much gelato. We went and saw so many things, And so now that they're older, they want their independence, right? And I give it to them, within reason. But we talk a lot, and I try to be more of a mentor to them. And one of them, and maybe the other, has agreed, and I've started training her to be a virtual assistant for me. So that's part of her education and is part of our time together. And she knows, like, if my business is successful, then we'll continue to world school. And if it doesn't work out, which I'm sure it'll work out, then I don't know, we might have to go back to the States, and I'll have to get a job or something. And she doesn't want that because she loves world schooling. So yeah, it's not easy. Again, as a solo parent, I have hired nannies a bit. My mom obviously is a very active grandmother, so I'm very lucky there. I have relatives, my cousin, my brother, my sister, other people who are around my kids to help. It does take a village. I meet other world schooling families, and as I mentioned, we take turns sometimes being with the kids so we can have a break. And yeah, it's just a village. And the friends we've made, like Karen and her daughter, who's friends with my kids, I really think, this is our tribe, and we've left our traditional life almost 7 years ago. We still have friends back home and we go back home once in a while. But they don't live this lifestyle that we're living. And and most of them are supportive, but we have some naysayers. And so the people we meet traveling, the other digital nomad families, they get why we do this, the why. And I think that's important to find. And I've joked with a bunch of them, and maybe you want to join, but your kids are younger. But once our kids have flown the coop, remember I said that I want to do van life, but my kids won't. We're going to have a bunch of empty nester world school parents travel together, hopefully in a van, and the parents will continue to hang out. And I'm kind of joking about that because I do say that if I didn't have kids, I probably wouldn't be super nomadic. I would be an expat. I would have a home base somewhere and travel from there. But, I don't have this giant need to travel to every country. And I've already seen a lot. And but I do like being with like-minded people in this world schooling, digital nomad, location independent, whatever you want to call us, community. I love talking to other people about business, especially. I really want to encourage more people to launch a business, and I want to encourage them to have their kids learn entrepreneurship skills. And this is not taught in the traditional school because the traditional school was set up 200 years ago to initially train factory workers and then office workers. And yes, we need doctors and lawyers and all of that, but they don't teach entrepreneurship. And the universities, you can get an MBA, but it's always to work for a corporation, to be a corporate worker or work on Wall Street. The only exception to that maybe is Stanford Business School in California, but that's just because they're in Silicon Valley. But there's hardly any education or knowledge about launching your own business in the school system. So I have friends who have launched online businesses on how to teach teenagers or kids how to launch their own business. So if you're curious, let me know and I will pass their information along. But I really want to encourage people to have the freedom, to work for themselves and, set it up in a way where eventually, like what you're doing, you can have a 4-hour work week or whatever, 15-hour, 20-hour, whatever, just not work those 100 hours or 70 hours a week like I used to. And it is possible. And then you have freedom to have time with your family, hobbies, meditate, relax, go to the beach. I mean, all the things that I think a lot of people wish they did when they're on their deathbed, looking back on their life. I want us to do it now.
Yeah.
Before it's
Amen. It's funny, isn't it? Because so I'm interviewing the parental CEO today, and my husband is Jamie Selby is a chartered accountant and business coach, but he said exactly the same as you. Why was the reason for setting up Parental CEO in the first place was to help, parents find that balance, to have that balance between business and family life. And there isn't, the schools aren't teaching the things that we want to teach our kids. They're 9 to 5 doesn't let you be with your kids at your will and your want. So It is really important for us to bring everybody together, bring all the experts in. You're all experts in your own different areas. And we love the fact that we've got you on teaching people about how to world school. We've got Jason Greystone, who's teaching people financial freedom. So there's so many different ways to do things. You just have to follow something, follow your passion, follow your love, and ask for help. Drop the comments below if you've got any questions for Liz, any questions for us at Parental CEO, any questions for any of the other coaches. We'll pick them up on here. But the whole idea is to bring that community together and break the mold. And it's a mentality, and me and my personal area is I'm a life coach, so I help parents, particularly mums, break that mold and learn to love themselves again and go after their passions and the desire to live a happier, healthier life. But you have to choose to let it in, and like Liz says, find your tribe, find the people that are going to support you, encourage you, and lift you. And it means putting aside all your doubts and your fears and your excuses and coming together, because together we're stronger. So just thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you, everybody, for watching and for listening. Please drop your messages, your questions, your comments below. We would love to hear more from you. If you've got any questions on how to world school, or how to even just set your business up, or how to just leave the old 9 to 5, whatever you choose, just go for it.
Awesome.
Thank you.